right. Hello and welcome to Art from Hard Beyond the Canvas. I'm your host, Lana Tariq, the podcast director, and with me is Avni, the founder. And today we are diving into the world of art and education. We are thrilled to have Miss Stephanie Atwell as our guest. Miss Atwell is 41 years old and graduated from Cal State East Bay in 2008 with a double major in fine art and art history. She went on to graduate school at CSEB and earned her teaching credentials in both general education and special education. She began teaching art in 2009 at Newark Junior High in the East Bay. To create her marker drawings, she gathers inspiration from the landscapes and coastal waters of California.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us today, Miss Atwell, and we're really excited to have you as our guest and share your journey with our audience.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We'd like to start off just asking you some questions. First, what inspired you to pursue your field?
So when I was 22, I was supposed to be a senior in college, and I heard some advice from a friend that said, stay in school as long as you can. And that kind of led me to adding on the second major and getting the BFA. And then that led to the teaching credential program and then the special education credential program. So I was kind of tumbling down the path of more college classes. And so I went to school for 10 years straight after I graduated.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of dedication. I don't know if I'd have the drive to do that.
Yeah. But I feel like it was good because I wasn't really sure what major I wanted. And so I was able to explore the different classes and network, and the professors really helped to inspire me. And one of my teachers said that the art major finds you, you don't pursue it. So.
Nice. That's very interesting. Yeah. Awesome. And just in general, during art, what kinds of strategies do you use to spark creativity when you're feeling stuck or you're not really sure where to go next?
So I like to do a lot of self-care. I had a neck problem or an injury kind of occur as I was growing and developing into adulthood and having a career. And so having self-care is a huge part of my day. And going for walks and being in nature allows me to kind of appreciate the balance and beauty in nature, and taking photos of beautiful colors and maybe different shapes, and then looking at maybe the clouds or the landscape and seeing inspiration in the brushwork that would go into maybe making that image. And so it's a way of practicing art without physically making art, because I'm kind of limited on my currency that I can expend towards those endeavors.
That's awesome. Is photography also kind of an art that you also do as well?
I took a lot of art classes in college, and photography was one of the classes I took. I feel like you really have to develop your craft and stumble upon those happy accidents, I like to call them. And so I felt like it was hard for me to get my hands into the camera and manipulate the image the way that I'm able to do on paper. So I have a lot of respect for people that can do photography, and I'm inspired by the different angles and the different emotions that can be evoked by the lighting or just the mood in general. And so I use that as a quick reference so that I can use it later. So I'll collect a lot of images, and then as I draw, I'll put them up on my computer, and then I can kind of zoom in a little bit and get those extra details, because I am not good at drawing from memory.
Yeah. Do you ever draw like in the location that you're trying to portray, or is it generally use a photo or reference?
So I have done in the past where you like go to a location, and it's kind of fun if you have a partner and you start drawing a tree or a river, and then you trade off and then they start drawing. So maybe an image that is in real life in the moment. I haven't done that too often. One of my favorite classes that I took in college was figure drawing. And it was a 3-hour class where the model would sit in one pose and the teacher would try to select a medium for the day, and it could be charcoal one day and marker the next. And it's really fun to push yourself to create a work of art in a limited amount of time, because as artists, you could spend forever on a picture and even pull it off the wall 10 years later and be like, that's just not right. So it is kind of fun to get those different spur of the moment pictures, but mostly right now I like to create marker images that kind of represent watercolor. And so I'll just spend hours, adding more to the picture and loving the picture. I don't have an end time or a destination when I feel like the artwork should be done. It kind of tells me when it's done.
That sounds really awesome. I know like art can sometimes be a little bit of a roller coaster of a process. So, have you ever encountered any like mistakes, be it humorous or serious, and what did you kind of learn from them?
So a small one, just like when creating art, I like to have those happy accidents, because the process of making art is such a love-hate relationship that you may really love your picture when you sit down to work on it. And then you start and you get in about an hour and you're like, oh my gosh, I have ruined it. And now I need to recorrect or reevaluate where I'm going with this. So that kind of gives you the tools that you need to make a masterpiece, because you have to do something. My teacher would say, do it 10 times. And then on the 10th time, it will be the best one. But before that, I knew that, because that was when I was a senior in college. A funny moment, or kind of a cringy moment. I was a freshman at Yakima Valley Community College, and I was there on a basketball scholarship. And I was walking by the library and I saw that there was an ad for an art show. And I was like, oh, wow, I loved my pottery class in high school, and I feel like I made a pretty good mask of a sun. And I was like, yeah, I think I'll, enter that into the art show. And so I entered, and I wasn't really expecting anything. And then I was rejected. I did not get to have my piece in the art show. And I hadn't told anyone that I had entered it, and so it wasn't really that much of a failure. And then I went to the show, and I was blown away at how good the art was. And I was rather embarrassed that I felt that my student work was at the level of artists that were 40 and 50 years old, that had been honing their craft and were passionate about their works of art. And I was just submitting some, piece that I had made as an assignment.
Yeah, I know pottery can be tough. I have a chemistry teacher who does ceramics, and like it's a real like labor of love. I know that. So, I mean, the fact that you did it at all is really impressive.
I currently have a piece at the Fireman's art show in Pleasanton. So I just went and saw it. That's like my first piece that I've actually really submitted, and it was accepted. And so it was kind of exciting to get to walk up to the gallery today. It's usually when you go into a gallery, you're like peaceful and relaxed. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm nervous to see my art and see everyone else's art. So it was really nice. And it's kind of fortuitous that we're doing our interview on that same day.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's amazing. It must be really interesting to see like the flashback of your experiences like when you were much younger and then now having your work accepted. I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, it feels good. And I always felt like I hadn't reached the goal of having a piece that was good enough to put on display, or to even have your own show. You have to have a body of work, and that would be hundreds of attempts that you put into making each piece look lovely and beautiful. And right now, I don't feel like I have enough ability within my body to create that because of my neck problem. And so I do celebrate those artists that have that and that passion and that time, because that's a gift.
Yeah, wow. And I also just want to ask you just about like collaborating in art. So if you were to collaborate with anyone on an art piece, who would it be and what kind of project would you envision to do with them?
So my values have changed a lot over the years since my injury. When I was in high school, I played basketball and I thought it was important to be on varsity and do a good job and, make nice art and then get a career. And then with my injury, I was forced to learn patience and to really evaluate what is important and what am I going to put my time towards, because you only maybe have so much within your body every day to give. And so if I could make a work of art, it would not be a normal work of art. It would be something that I would create with a shaman of some sort or a guru, and it would be on the perfect meditation on how to breathe and make a 3D print a perfect avatar. And I would want everyone to be able to do that. And so that's kind of what I've been doing for the past 13 years.
Oh wow, that's really amazing. Is like meditation or any kind of relaxing practice, is that something you also do regularly?
Yeah, so when I had my injury, it was my second year of teaching, and I was just typing on the computer, and all of a sudden it felt like I got a sprain right in the center of my neck, like on my throat. Kind of like if you catch a basketball and you jam your finger, but right there. And I was startled and thought, oh my gosh, what's going on? And I just thought it would kind of go away, like a sprained ankle, you just walk it off, and a week later it's fine. And it was 2 weeks to 4 weeks later that it was persisting and it was getting worse. And I was starting to freak out. And it was like, oh my gosh, like what is happening to my life? And it was like a total change. I couldn't be the person that I was anymore. I had to start lying down all the time. My neck was so weak that I couldn't hold my head up. I couldn't breathe. And looking down was treacherous. And to be a human, you look down and you use your arms almost for everything. So I went to the doctor and they told me that I needed to become a vegetable and basically lie down and let my body try to recalculate itself. And that's not what happened. And I went to another doctor and he was like, well, basically, you're disabled and you just need to figure out how to go to work, because you don't want to be a 28-year-old who's disabled. And so having that meditation and that self-care, I was forced to lie down for 3 to 5 hours every day just to feel okay. And I feel like I was like a baby with a giant head. Like I couldn't like hold my body up, and gravity was kicking my butt and having a job. So it became a huge part of who I am now.
Wow, yeah, that sounds really tough. Is that also something that's maybe in your artwork? Is like the patience that you've kind of acquired, is that something that you put in towards your art?
Yeah, so I feel like I make two kinds of art. So I make a lot of drawings that align with my meditations. Like, so I have a skeleton, a life-size skeleton. And so I'll draw a lot of images that demonstrate my knowledge and my ability to understand my own body, my own avatar, and how it is in balance or what I want to focus on. And I'll use the rainbow so that I can think about, okay, this muscle first as red and then this muscle next as orange. And so my art is functional art. That is a meditative art that you can look at. And then my other art, which is my fun art, is creating things that are happy and nice. And those take time, and I never know where the image is going. It creates itself as we work together. And so patience is the dance, and it's lovely.
Yeah, I'm curious, so you were teaching when this happened. Did any of your work with your students kind of help you get through it? Were you using it like as a way, were you using your teaching as a way to kind of cope and deal with it, or did you try to keep them largely separate?
So I'm a very shy person, and I don't like people to know my problems. So I felt like it was a personal battle of trying to be that normal teacher, but also trying to heal myself at the same time. And so I had an aide that I worked with for 12 years, and she never knew that I was in so much pain.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you'd be an awesome teacher just the way you talk. Like you seem very like a presence. I imagine you've worked with a ton of students. So what is kind of one key piece of advice that you would offer to young people, students, or anyone trying to learn art and to like pursue their passions?
So I have a favorite motto that is, are you being a better human being? And so that kind of goes along with a growth mindset and having goals, and not just having any goal, but goals that are related to virtues. And like when I entered that art piece in that college show in Yakima, I didn't really have any wisdom. I didn't have any virtues or like foundation that I was creating art upon. And so developing yourself and pushing yourself and your character to be better. And some contributors to living a longer, happier life is your connections with society and how well you breathe. So if you can do both of those, then you're going to have a good life.
I think that's really great. That's really nice to hear.
Yeah.
Need that's
Yeah, I've been feeling better. And, I didn't know any of that when I got injured. I was just, someone in college trying to do a good job. And
that's a lot.
yeah, so it's been a journey. And so I feel like I'm kind of maybe turning the corner a little bit, like things are coming together. And so it's kind of nice to do this interview.
That's wonderful. And that's really nice that you can also help like the next generation of students also learn that early on when they're doing art. So that's really nice.
Yeah, when I teach, I'm teaching math right now in middle school, and on Fridays we have Fun Friday, and I teach an art lesson. And so one of my students said that his favorite class was my class because we do art and math. And I looked at him and I smiled and I was like, and it's because you love me too, right?
Oh, that's
Said,
really
yeah.
nice. Wow.
Yeah.
That must be a nice thing to hear.
Yeah, it is good.
That's wonderful. And that's really cool how you teach what all subjects do you teach in school?
So I'm a special ed teacher. So I do push-in support for students that have disabilities. And then I also teach a special day class for students that need pull-out support and more intensive services. And then in high school, I was a case manager for students with mild to moderate disabilities and helped them graduate. And so I called them kind of long-term batches because I would be with the students for 4 years as they were growing from a freshman to a senior. And usually change would take about 2.5 years. So I'm pretty patient with the students. I just need to be learned to have patience with myself.
Yeah. That's really wonderful. It's been really wonderful talking to you about your whole journey in art.
Yeah, it sounds like I mean, like from an outside perspective, it sounds like you've done like a lot of good, helped a lot of people, and like I don't know, you have a very like strong sense of self. I think that's really admirable.
Thank you. Well, it was kind of fun. I was a little nervous today, but it's really kind of helped, shape my artist statement of what I'm doing and my goals for myself. So it was kind of a fun thing. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your just like incredible journey and insights with us today. It's been such a pleasure hearing about your experiences and the passion you bring to teaching and art in so many ways. And I really hope our listeners have gained some really valuable inspiration from your story because it's genuinely, I think, very inspiring, and also you're a very grounded person as well. So it's cool to see how like you can be an artist and a teacher and also dealing with your own struggles and kind of getting through them in a way that is very admirable.
Thank you so much. It's been amazing.
Yeah, of course. And to everyone tuning into our podcast, thank you for joining us on this episode of Art from Heart Beyond the Canvas. And we really hoped you enjoyed this conversation as much as we did. Be sure to subscribe and stay connected for more exciting episodes exploring the intersection of art and creativity in all its forms. Until next time, stay creative.